Cinema 5D Board at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
So many talented people out there, and this is simply a joy. And guys, as a filmmaker, as a documentary filmmaker, and I'm sure that Nino will agree, I'm simply proud to be part of this family. When I see what you guys are doing and what you did in those circumstances, it's simply a joy and a lot of pride to be part of this big family. So really, thank you very much for creating, for doing, for taking the initiative, and not kind of give up and be passive for the situation. And we are all together in this, and I really hope that sooner than later we'll be able to move on, and not less important, make this competition maybe a tradition. It can, on the positive note, and just take it. This is just the starting point, and with that amount of submission, those amount of submissions, and the quality, we will definitely do what we can in order to make it a tradition. And I hope that you also simply jump in, and every time that you can and have the time to produce, do it together with us. This sounds like an ending speech, no?
No, but it's also a good beginning. I couldn't agree more. I think it's always, I think our audience should know that, we're really making this for fun. We're not earning a cent with this. This was a spontaneous idea, and the reason why the sponsors are the sponsors is only because they submit the prices. They don't pay us anything for this competition, and we're just very, very, very thankful for the great inspiration from all of you guys. It's just really uplifting. It's a lot of work, a lot more than we thought. Johnny will agree. Actually, the reason why we delayed this stream for 1 hour was that we literally weren't finished judging all the entries and just deciding who's, the top 10, the top 5, whatever.
The top 50.
So the top 50. But it's still, it's just the amount of creativity is just puzzling for me. And I think we had this experience once before. We did a similar competition once before, about 2 years ago, where Fujinon was the big sponsor, and they gave away 2 Fujinon MK lenses. And at the time already we were, it was the same kind of feeling. Just this time we thought that probably we get less submissions, because also it was a much shorter submission time. It was less than 3 weeks. Yeah. Last time I think it was 2 or 3 months. And but we still had 250 eligible submissions, and that was just really, really amazing, and the variety of stuff. And as you mentioned, I also forgot one thing before, the the duplicated persons. It was really funny that some films, sometimes it looked like the same person made several versions of the film, although we only allowed 1 submission. But then I checked the names, and I said, okay, this is not the same person. It's not even from the same country, sometimes not even from the same continent, but they had the same idea. And that happened several times with the duplicated people. Then we had the nature documentary style stuff. So that's quite interesting.
Jacob, by the way, are we getting already messages? Let those guys stop talking and let's see the films. Are we getting those messages already or not yet?
Or any questions from the audience so far?
Jacob, can you hear me? I can't hear Jacob. Okay. I hope he's still, I can see him. I can see you, Jacob. I can't hear you. Okay.
I also can't hear you, but he's just shake your head if there's no question or
now. Yeah.
Now I can hear you.
The typical thing with movies, turning off, with muting the microphone. But yeah, we have some activity on the YouTube live video, but no questions yet. No one's pushing you anywhere. Everything is working smoothly.
Nice. Everybody's positive, and we will try to make breaks from time to time so we can sneak to the restroom.
Oh yeah, that also. But the reason why we do this as a live stream, it would be much easier for us to pre-record this and just stream it as if it was live. The reason for this being live is that you guys can engage in the discussion. Yeah, not that it's still a discussion who are the top 50. We have decided on that, but and we can already say that I think the top 3 have the same amount of points, and we still have to decide who the winner is. So I'm just going to explain how we did the judging. So the judging, Johnny and I independently gave points to all of the 250 films. We gave points in 4 categories. Let me just read this so I don't make any mistakes here. So the first category we judged was, the first aspect that we judged was originality and creativity. So of course, this is something that is, it's something, we want to see something fresh. We want to see fresh ideas. We want to see great ideas, something unexpected. That was the first aspect, originality and creativity. We gave points from 1 to 5. So both Johnny and I gave points from 1 to 5, 5 being the best. In each of those categories. And at the end, we summarized them like they were counted together. And this automatically gives the winner, and whoever gets most points. The second aspect we judged was how well was the theme Bored at Home interpreted. Now, one of the things that we stated in the terms and conditions was that we don't want anything submitted that was not specifically shot for this competition. This is something that is always difficult when doing a competition like this, because you never know if people are submitting old material. And of course, everybody has some amazing stuff in the drawer. It's the theme is broad enough, or actually specific enough, that we usually can find out, or think we can find out, if something was specifically made for the competition or not. This is why this is an aspect as well. But the way we lay this out is quite broad. I mean, it's not like you have to see somebody who is really bored at home. It's just something that, has something to do with the current situation. What do you want to say, Johnny?
No, I said that it's also part of the integrity and trust that we have in people. I have to say this because, again, we are all in the same position here. I mean, we are all professionals in the sense of we have integrity and respect to what we do. So I really want to believe that everything that was submitted was submitted to us. I mean, there was only one person, and I didn't track it. I can't remember the name or the email address actually, that asked if he can submit one film to 2 competitions, to 2 different competitions. Yeah, and this is something, it's actually up to the person. It's up to his integrity. As long as he's submitting something for us and he tells us this is for you guys, that's for us, yeah. But yeah, so that's, you stated 2 categories, and the third and the fourth?
Yeah, the third one is storytelling. So the third one is how well is the storytelling. Very often, and that is probably the most difficult part, because a lot of our audience are cinematographers or camera people. So usually very visual people. And of course, we also have directors in our audience and screenwriters. But I think we are quite a technical side, which is why a lot of you guys are quite technical minded, like we are as well. But that's why the storytelling part, that's the one thing that takes most work in preparation and planning out a shoot, and a bunch of pretty images with no connection to each other doesn't really cut it, which is why storytelling is a very important aspect as well, that was also judged from 1 to 5. And last but not least, also the cinematography. So cinematography, because we are a cinematography website, is also judged. So those 4 in each of these categories, you can get up to 5 points from both Johnny and me. And at the end, this is in our spreadsheet automatically counted together. And that's why that's how we find out who the top 50 are, and actually also the top 4 or 5 are, of course, the ones that actually win the prizes. But again, I mean, I think, we will now start screening the top 50, starting with the 50th spot. Actually, we're gonna stream the top 54. Yes, we screen the top 54 simply because there are a lot of films that have the same amount of points in our spreadsheet, and I think it would be unfair if we only showed 1 out of the 5 that are on the 50th spot, so to speak, which is why we will show 54 films now. After each film, we're gonna come back to Johnny and me for maximum of 2 minutes. We have to limit this because it's already gonna be a lot of time. And Johnny and I will just give our opinion for a maximum of 2 minutes before we move on to the next film. Otherwise, we're gonna sit here in 12 hours still. I think we will still sit here in 2.5 hours, but hopefully this will be over in 3 hours. So it will be quite a long thing, but it should be fun. And we look forward to hearing all your opinions. Now,
After party.
we wish, actually, the original plan was to show all submissions. So, like when I told Johnny that I want to show all submissions, we were still thinking that it's going to be only around 100. But then there were so many submissions coming in at the very last day that we just had to decide what to do. And I think it's still kind of a nice film festival if we show the top 50 and talk about them. But the top, like all the 250 submissions are online. They are in the YouTube playlist. You can find the link in the post on cinema5d.com. There is a link to the playlist which contains all of the 250 films. Now, those are still not ranked. If you go to that playlist, they're random. You will not know which ones are the top 50. But if you want to watch all the 250 films, you can. We're just not going to be able to show all of them today. But yeah, anything else to add, Johnny?
Let's start. The night is very young. Actually, it's almost morning.
For you, how late is it in Tokyo right now?
It's 30 minutes after midnight. And you just said 3 hours to go. I'm looking forward. And no, it's all good. It's all good. I know what is coming up. Yeah, let's start.
Let's start. So just for people who don't know, Johnny is in Tokyo. I'm in Austria. So we are, on different sides of the globe as well, like our entire Cinema 5D team. Here at the headquarters, we have thankfully our friends and partners, Bobo here, who is doing the live stream and making sure that everything works nicely. He's specialized in doing multicam live stream productions for a lot of big productions. So if you ever need a big production with a multicam, he's the right person to go to. Then we have Jacob, who you will already know from Cinema 5D. He's writing a lot of the stuff on Cinema 5D. He's helping with the chat, and he's monitoring the chat, and he's also taking care of a lot of the social media right now. And then we have the good ghost in the background, Anna, who is taking care of all of you submittants. Actually, she was the one who was in contact with all of you during this process. And last but not least, I want to say that all of you, all 250, will next week get an email from Anna, which contains individual feedback to each one of the 250 films. And this is exactly why this is taking so long. It's not just the judging. We're also trying hard to really give at least one sentence or a paragraph of feedback to each one of the submissions. And I think that's a lot of work, but I think everybody who puts in the time to submit something deserves also to get some feedback from us. But yeah, let me talk to the direction here if we are able to start screening the films. Are we yes. Is it possible, Bobo?
Yes.
Okay. Then, Johnny, anything else to add from your side before we start with?
Yeah, I mean, what will be nice, I think from our side, maybe you guys can also drop us a line soon, with which camera you actually shot what you shot, regardless to which number and ranking and where we are when you are in the list. I think this is something that also very interesting for us. And this is also something that might be interesting in the future when we are approaching manufacturers in terms of prices and so on. This is really, I'm very, very curious because, we are living in a very dynamic market here. So please, if you think about us after the competition, maybe you can drop us a line with the camera you used for shooting your submission. That would be very nice. Okay.
We have a question. One question I just saw that somebody asked if we're going to have a list of the 54 films. we will post this afterwards. I think there will be tomorrow. I will sit down and write a post, kind of summarizing the finals and also announcing the winners. And as part of that post, I will list the top 54 films. Maybe we will even do a new YouTube playlist so you can actually watch them chronologically as well. But yeah, let's start with film number 54. I don't actually know the title. We'll work on that. Maybe in the break while we watch the first film, I will come up with a way to actually be able to read the titles to you before we start the films. But let's start with film number 54.
Cinema 5D Board at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
Wake up! You merely exist. No plan, no emotions, no ambitions. You decay. You want to be seen, you want to express, but what exactly? What about? Why? You can't create if you don't move. How are you supposed to know? Are you even there? You merely exist. No plan, no emotions, no ambitions. You decay. You can't create. Art needs to flow. Art lies in motion. Art needs to move. It's composed from scent, vision, and feelings. But you're bored at home, yet you want to express. Are you even there? I am. Art flows.
Okay, we're back, Johnny. This is the film called Art Flows.
Which one? Yeah.
I can see Jacob. I can hear Jacob with the...
Yeah, sorry, Jacob, your mic is open. Please mute yourself. Bo, I think we can start the countdown. Yes, so this was Art Flows from Florian Koch from Lower Austria, actually here in Austria. So what do you think about this one, Johnny?
This was a very personal thing, and with a lot of the feeling of freedom and flow, and that's why I liked it. I have to also admit that I saw only the last. I mean, of course, I saw when we judged the film altogether, but I actually saw only the last 20 seconds, and I also like that there are no wasted seconds here, because actually 1 minute is. Actually, 1 minute, it sounds maybe short to many people, but you can put so much in this 1 minute. And here I feel that there's a certain flow and no wasted time.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a beautiful, almost philosophical film. And I like the message that if you can't create and if you're locked in, like most of us or many of us are right now at their homes, are people thrown back to their mere existence because they can't create. So you kind of have to be rediscovered to be human again. It's kind of a philosophical message that I quite like that. And I also like the way it was shot, and it's, beautiful, beautiful film. And it made the top 50. So I think,
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Next one.
Let's move on.
Cinema 5D Board at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
Silence. Birds singing. Just me and my garden. Okay, maybe not quite just me. Everyone stays at home all the time cause the epidemic. Finally, some excuse for their laziness. And now you think you are suffering because you aren't allowed to go out? Every day you complain you're dying of boredom. But what about me? That's right, I'm a tree. I'm standing here all the time. So better appreciate what you got before you start to complain again that it can be worse. I'll tell you something, Uncle Harry also used to say that.
Send it to me via WhatsApp, yeah? Okay, sorry, we're already live. We're still struggling to find a way to get the names in time. But yeah, until I get the name, also beautiful film. I think it was a really beautifully shot film. I think the idea is nice, that basically we are locked in, but it's not so special for a lot of other things in our houses and gardens. I mean, this guy is quite lucky to have a really large garden and a beautiful tree in there. But yeah, the tree can never move.
And of course, the punchline at the end. I thought this is hilarious. Maybe from my sense of humor, it was very, very funny to see the uncle toilet paper on the tree. So if I have to explain the joke, maybe this is not so good, but it made me laugh.
I know it was funny. I mean, the toilet paper is also kind of a theme in a lot of the films. It's not as prevalent as I thought it would be, because toilet paper has really become a symbol of this quarantine for a lot of people across the globe, because people just rush to buy toilet paper like nothing else for some reason once this started. But yeah, it's definitely a funny punchline. And I think it was also beautifully shot. Yeah,
true. And out of curiosity, I hope you guys can see it all in a nice quality, because actually many of the films were submitted in 4K. That was also another surprise for me. That people are really using the 4K. Not only, it's not only HD stuff, but they're really working in 4K. This is from the technical side, of course, and not particular for this film. But it's nice to see that people are using all the Ks they have.
Yeah. So I just want to say the name of this film. Anna, do you know the name of the film? Okay, we just have to live with the fact. She's actually printing out the information for me. Let's just keep on chatting for a little bit.
Shall we move on? Because the clock is...
yeah.
We will give the credit afterwards to the person.
Wait, I hear her coming to me and giving me the sheet. Okay. I hope I'm right. Sorry for the bad preparation here. But yeah, we literally only defined the top 50 seconds before we started the live stream. But yeah, I mean, how many? I think a lot of people are very lucky. You see a lot of differences with the streams, with the short films, that how different people live. Actually, that fascinated me. Like a lot of people showed a lot of close-ups and very, very small rooms, and you could tell that these people are living in very confined spaces. And some others are more lucky and have a big house and a garden or something like that, like this guy. So of course, I mean, being in quarantine isn't the same for everybody involved. Yeah.
Sure. Let's move on and give the credit.
As I'm still waiting for the list, let's move on to the next film. I'll give the credit afterwards. Yeah.
Cinema 5D Board at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
Hola, mis vidas. Pero oye, ¿qué pasa? ¿Nadie me coge el walkie o qué? Que yo he terminado ya la misión. Me quiero volver a casa. Que es que llevo un mes por ahí sin parar. Y macho, que ya es hora. A ver, esa peñita que nadie me contesta, ¿eh? Que estáis viendo el fútbol, que ya lo sé yo. Venga, que alguien me coja. A que me aburro. Venga, ahora en serio. Que alguien me conteste. Hola. Hola. Pero mandando un avión o algo. No me importa, ¿eh? Supongo que quería que me vinierais a buscar. Okay.
Yeah, nice little film there, nice animation. First of all, before we talk about this film, let me just mention, somebody asked if we can skip the intro. We would love to, but because we only defined the top 50 briefly before this stream started, we were not able to download every video from YouTube and cut it off in time. We have it on some, but I apologize if you have to rewatch that intro so many times. We were trying to cut them all off, but because we only finished judging literally before the live stream started, we were not able to cut them out. We downloaded the videos, and yeah, we're doing our best here, but just be a bit patient, please. Yeah, Johnny, what do you think about this one?
It's one of those, I think, for me personally, if I want to see more, then it's a success. And this is a small example of a very short film that has everything. It has the animation, it has the message, it has something behind it. It's not just a visual thing. It's a one shot that starts nicely from the walkie-talkie and then going back. And again, it's the last sentence of, you know what? Okay, actually, I never thought you're gonna rescue me. And we have few films like this, but the mood is a bit depressive. But I guess many people were sitting at home and thinking about the future and how it's gonna be. So I guess that's part of the outcome. But again, for me, I really liked what I saw, even if the mood is not so good. But of course, not everything has to be funny. And for you?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what fascinated me on this one, because we also saw this in some real film submissions, this pushback long one shot kind of thing that is revealing things, because we don't quite know what's going on at the beginning. We only see the walkie-talkie, it goes back, and then we realize, okay, it's something that has to do with COVID-19 and somebody who was forgotten or lost or maybe died. And it's quite intriguing that a lot of story can be told within one shot, and it's quite smart to do. And it's nice to do this, animation combined with
Sure.
real video. Yeah. So so that's let's move on to the next one then.
Let's move on.
Cinema 5D Board at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
So this was Quarantine Kaci from Peter Kovac from Slovakia. I quite enjoyed this. I mean, I don't know if you know the film Kojanis Kaci, Johnny.
No.
It's a classic from, I think, the 80s, which is basically a lot of very visual piece from Godfrey Reggio on time lapse. It's a lot of time lapses from around the world. It's basically humans in motion and at a time, shot at a time when time lapse was not really something that was easy to do, and just a very visual piece with a lot of music that is similar to this. So I thought the idea was quite interesting to quote this and kind of make a Quarantine Kaci, which is of course a funny play on the whole topic of quarantine. Yeah, what do you think?
I liked very much that, and we saw this throughout the competition, where the person is involving the family, and the family is happily It's like a family effort. It's almost like I can imagine the father is coming and say, "Hi guys, there's this camera that I would like to have. Let's do this all together." No, I'm joking. But everybody has a role, and everybody is kind of bored or busy at home with his own little work. Yeah, and I hope that we can see this more a bit later. And yeah, some of the shots are very, very nice. And I think within the time frame that this film was made, I think it's really, really well done.
I agree. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, actually, I was surprised how many of the kids are actually great actors. There's some movies amazing. Where I'm like, wow, this is really, I was really amazed. Like, how do you get a kid to actually do this? Sometimes they were better actors than the grown-ups. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, we will see some of those still. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next title is Resilience from Mark Weimers from the US.
Cinema 5D Board at Home Film Competition.
Please also add the number in the list.
Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
Resilience. It's the ability to recover from difficulties quickly, to spring back into shape. Yes, life is uncertain right now because this invisible threat is out of our control. The only thing in our control is how we adapt to our new normal. So now's your chance to dust off the book you've never finished. Challenge yourself creatively. Show love to someone you love. Spend some time outdoors feeling the warmth of the sun, and open your eyes to the two paths that have been presented to you. You can either feel bored and wish things would change, or look back a few months from now and thank God for the new skills you gained.
Yeah, beautiful. I really love this piece. I'm actually surprised it's not higher up in the list, but yeah, that's what the numbers say. I was amazed by the positivity, kind of like, it's nice, like to have somebody to see the opportunity with the situation and just kind of get an inspirational message out of what people can do in order to actually make the best of the situation that everybody's in, and at the same time do this visually in a very, very appealing way. I particularly loved the drone shots. I mean, the drone shot is at the very end where he's leaving the house and going out. Quite nice.
Yeah, I really liked that. Besides the positive message, and I did also spot one warp stabilizer. I think you could see that it's kind of wobbly a little bit. How many shots you can actually include in this 1 minute, and that's of course what made in this particular video. That's what made it nice and very, very dynamic and very positive. So it's unlike what we said before, that sometimes you have these themes with one shot, that it works really, really well. In this particular one, I really like that it's cut rather fast, and it's very rich in visuals.
I agree. Jacob, any questions from the audience?
So far, no questions. I mean, you answered some of them already. There are going to be the videos in the article afterwards. So that was the first question. No, otherwise, so far, so good.
Yeah. I think one of the questions I just saw was if I can say the number in the list of the next videos that's coming up. We're working on this. I think we are still on 50 or 49 now, because we had probably still 50, because we had 54 videos. Anna is just working in the background. We have sorted them by the amount of jury points we gave them, but because a lot of those films have the same amount of points, like I said in the beginning, she has to work out now the kind of number in the list. But it's always going to be some that are kind of on the same spot, because the last 4 you saw are actually on the same spot because they have the same amount of numbers. But the next film that's coming up is called Happy Birthday, Bored at Home by Francesco Mano from Spain. Yeah, I just love the style. I mean, the shots, each shot was beautiful. I mean, it was really, really, really beautifully shot and edited. I didn't quite get everything. I think I don't understand why the cake was on the floor and at the end the boy was sitting there. Yeah,
nothing will stop a good party. It's a birthday party. Nothing can stop it.
I agree. I mean, yeah, I actually, for this one, I'm really looking forward to hearing what it was shot on and what lenses he used and the grading and stuff, because it really looked very cinematic, very kind of not digital in the best way possible. And yeah, really good work. I think also good use of music.
True, absolutely. And I think it's also nice to see that, you know, Spain is one of those places that was really affected really hard. And still we have so many submissions from Spain. And I guess it's another way to kind of release a certain pressure. And I'm very happy that the guys are actually participating. And yeah, if we could help a little bit in that sense and divert the mood, let's say, and do something productive, yeah, we are happy.
Yeah. So we just saw Happy Birthday from Francesco Mano from Spain. This was spot 49. So next up, we're going to see My Last Wish from Saikat Ghosh from India.
Took the world one step further towards the destruction.
Last night, my friend asked, if it is the end, what will be your last wish? I always wanted to be an artist and tried to be. If there is no one to be alive, who will believe my art? I don't know even I will be alive or not. But I have to be positive, as my blood group always reminds. Staying home, I am revealing myself, enhancing my imaginations, and above all, doing the duty of social distancing. Otherwise, the art will be like this nest, empty.
Yeah, that was one of those depressive ones that we talked about. Kind of philosophical. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, again, because we actually judge the films like each one individually. Personally, this specific film was a little bit less in my list, I have to admit. But all in all, I'm just very happy. It's a very international, as you say. That's a film from India, so we had submissions from. Let me just quickly check, because this is also important to.
49 countries.
49 countries, yeah. So that's what
we
makes it very international.
Can read out that list later on, maybe. But yeah, I agree. I mean, this one stuck out for me because of the use of light. It was kind of daring, and I think it set it apart from a lot of the other entries because of the dramatic lighting. Just made it beautiful, and yeah, that's about it. Let me check what's coming up next. The next one is called PB and Cray by Josh Porter from Texas, US.
Plop. Okay. Who ate my sandwich? Kelly. What? Well, the car's gone, so it couldn't have been her, could it? You, me. Why are you here? Didn't I tell you never to?
It's a shame it was the last bit of peanut butter.
That's it! No, I was hungry! I don't even like peanut butter and jelly! That was the last jar of peanut butter.
You can't kill me.
Oh, give me one reason why not.
Because if you kill me, you die too.
No, you're lying! No, you're lying! I was just cleaning.
Again?
Oh, I can explain.
Yeah, that one was an interesting one for me. It's I think at the beginning I didn't quite know what's gonna happen, and it didn't catch me. Usually, you're like first impressions count, but this first impression wasn't that great for me. But then because of the twist, I think it really hit home for me. It was quite funny and unexpected.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's a duplication, or of course it's the same person. Yeah. So it was quite nice to see the couple are collaborating here +1.
I think there were at least 10 films who had the same person twice, or actually more times in the film, even more, I guess.
Many.
That was kind of a, yeah. So a lot of people are dealing with schizophrenia while they are locked in, I think. Multiple personalities and stuff like that. But usually quite in a funny way, like this one. Yeah. All right. So the next one is number 46 in our list. Is called Speed by Alexi Henneker from Belgium.
Formula One is over. Formula One is finished. I want to see the speed on my screen. Something pure and untouched. Like a freezing lake. I want to take a look at the white mountain, where speed limits has disappeared.
All right, Johnny, I'll let you start with this one.
Yeah, very, very well done. And locked at home with the face outside. And I think this combination of model, we see this in so many film combinations of either models only, but here it's the person with the models together. And yeah, there's a story. There's a little story behind, and everything is packed into 1 minute. Well done.
Yeah, I agree. I think as you said, the combination of models and real life is also kind of a theme where people use small Matchbox cars or whatever, or models or Lego, and put themselves into that in one way or another. This one stuck out for me because of the vintage look also, and kind of the moodiness. It kind of evoked this feeling from it really looked like something from the 70s. Yeah, quite, it reminded me of, like movies like Rush, like the Formula One movies, and when Formula One was actually still an exciting sport where people could actually, lose their lives and while being real daredevils. So that's quite a cool submission, I think. All right, next up is number 45. It's called Superhero Quarantine by Diogo Caramujo. I hope I say that right. Caramujo, from Portugal.
Mais dia de quarentena e acho que vou dar em doido. Saudades daqueles tempos em que havia vilões e heróis à séria. Hoje em dia é só haters de Facebook e fãs do Iron Man. A sério que fizeram um filme sobre este gajo, todo vestidinho de licra, Homem-Aranha. Quem é que gosta de aranhas? Deixa-me mas é comer a minha torradinha. E a sério, ainda agora fiz uma torrada. Nem tem álcool, nem máscaras, nem nada. Já sei. Tô? Batman? Estás a fazer alguma coisa?
So yeah, with this one, I wasn't so sure if he's a robber. I mean, if I hadn't read the title before, to me, he would have been more like a robber who's, you know, in somebody's home. Because once you hear that person screaming, it sounds like he has somebody in the basement. But maybe I was just used to a lot of the other films who had a theme like that.
I like it. I like the sense of humor here. I like the filming. Yeah, it's a little film. There's a little story here behind, and yeah, who made A Man with Stockings a hero? I guess he's right.
Yeah, no, it's also well shot. I mean, it's I think it plays on the popularity of course, all the Marvel movies and stuff like that. That's obvious, and yeah, well done. Jacob, do we have any questions?
There are some requests from some people that think it's getting a little bit too long, so I don't know if there's a way to speed things up a little bit, or yeah, that's it.
Well, it's hard to do because we want to give the top 50 the space they deserves. But if you're convinced that you're among the top 5, you can just skip the next 1.5 hours and then just tune back in, I guess. No, we know it's long. It's also long for us. I mean, we've been literally judging videos for the last couple of days, day in and day out. But I think because of the effort that everybody put in, they're deserving of some comments. All right, but let's move on to the next one. The next one is number 44, The Quarantine Game by Finn Maura from Norway.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I really like this one because it was so unexpected. I mean, again, like you said before, somebody involving their entire family, but they all doing something at the end, which is forming a letter of the world love, which only is revealed at the very end. And I really liked also the unexpectedness to use the gaming elements and all these things. It's just really great work and a very fun and engaging way to show how a family is coping with the situation.
It's fun, it's funny, it's colorful, the music is nice, and the word love at the end. What else do we need? Let's move on.
Let's move on. Number 43 is called Trapped. No, here I'm back. Number 43 is called Trapped by Michael Morris from Portland, US. Yeah, that's one of those horror movies that we were talking about. Trapped at Home. I like the way this is shot. I like the way the story is told. I mean, we've had a couple of similar submissions with that theme. The difficulty, I think, is just that this needs proper lighting and proper framing and perspectives in order to work. And I think this one really worked, and it actually was quite scary. Also the sound design.
Exactly, like any other scary movie, the sound design is extremely important, because if you will mute the sound, it won't be scary. And here it's a good example how it can be executed, and it kept us like this all the way to see what will happen to her. So I hope she's fine.
I hope so too. All right, let's move on. Number 42 is called Constraints Unleash Creativity by Evan Fotis from Greece.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
Yeah, I love that one. I mean, this is something, I mean, for me, it doesn't feel that trapped when you can look out your window and you actually see the sea. But that's probably because I live in a country surrounded by land without any sea. So, but yeah, beautiful images. And I like the fact of the storytelling that it's kind of self-referential, that he's kind of making a movie about making the movie. I always like these kind of films.
Yeah, a little bit. This specific one is talking a little bit less to me personally, but maybe you liked it because it has your article at the beginning, no? Cinema 5D article that
no,
you.
But a lot of people tried that actually. A lot of people were trying to put something from Cinema 5D into their films in order to bribe us, to bribe our narcissism, I guess. But yeah, no, that wasn't the reason. I also like the way it was shot. Yeah, it's and I kind of I'm into these meta movies, I guess. You know, like a film about the film itself, like adaptation or anything. You know, Spike Jonze like. Yeah, but let's move on. Number 41 is called Patronus by Mark Rossi from Canada.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
What do you think, Johnny?
So again, in a nutshell, a small film with a lot of there's a lot of value here in this production. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons I really liked it, and I'm even curious to know how some of the things were done as a filmmaker. Yeah, so yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah, I agree. It's something unexpected again, and just the Matrix style and quoting the Matrix and is quite good, and also the storytelling, because you don't quite realize what it is all about, and then it kind of reveals itself. Yeah, also the visual effects were just really well done. I think visual effects in general are just hard to pull off convincingly. We had a lot of submissions with some kinds of visual effects, but it's quite easy to make them look cheesy. Actually, it's quite hard to make them not look cheesy. Yeah, that's the challenge, and I think with this one really pulled it off and combined it with an interesting story. Yeah. All right, the next one is called, well, number 40, and this is called Quarantine Waiting Time by Joris Skudra from Lithuania.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
Okay, so during this quarantine or waiting time, I realized some stuff. Sometimes you just have to wait for some things for them to become better. Look, you know when you're stoked to watch a movie, but then you eat all the popcorns in the first minute of the movie? Man, just wait a bit, okay? Or when you're making this amazing meal and then you're like, ooh, yummy, it's straight from the pan, and then it's like, and your mouth is burned? Or when you start freezing your ice cubes and you want to have this amazing sparkling orange lemonade with this amazing orange garnish, but you don't wait for the ice cubes to become icy, and your lemonade is a joke. Anyway, why are we so impatient, Why do we seek this quick and instant satisfaction all the time? Maybe we should just start enjoying the process of waiting.
Yeah, man, I'm good. I can wait. Good.
Yeah. First question, were there any audio problems for the viewers? Because I think I had some feedback, but I'm not sure. Yeah, very funny one, I think.
I love it.
What do you
I
think?
love the sense of I love the sense of humor. I love the how it's being made, not too serious. And of course, some of the questions that we are all dealing with on daily basis. Is the ice hard enough? But really, I really liked it. Well shot, well done. The shooting and the editing, like a little film. Very nice.
Absolutely, and it's how the small problems become big problems when you have nothing else to do. Yeah. All right, next up is number 39, Quarantine Hack short film by Francesco Trozzi from Italy.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
Stay home, stay home, stay home, stay home, stay home, stay home.
Yeah, very smart and simple idea in my opinion. But yeah, it works really well. Of course, he used a green screen cloth or maybe blue screen just to key out and then shot the same background twice. Yeah, cool idea. I wish this would exist because we could just leave our house even when we're not supposed to and just walk around invisibly. Nice fantasy, I think. And that's why I think we chose it because the idea was so good. All right. I'm actually talking to you alone right now because Johnny needs to take a natural break. I might do so soon as well. The next one is called The Work from Home Guru by Chris Vlassis from London, and that's number 38.
Cinema 5D Board at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
I'm Caroline, and I'm a work-from-home guru. I've actually registered the trademark. I don't really vibe with the term lockdown. I prefer geographically neutral. Well, I still keep my daily rituals going. I brainstorm buzzwords, afternoon calisthenics. Oh, and to keep morale high, I'm still the office prankster. Who took my lamp? It's important to stay connected, but not too connected. Lousy internet isn't your enemy. Embrace it.
I haven't heard from you all week. Where are those reports?
I guess you could say that I've got this whole working from home thing locked down.
I personally love this one. I mean, this is, I think, a great parody of The Office. I mean, everybody knows The Office, the series, either the American or the British original.
British.
Just the way it's shot, like it's exactly those really the floaty camera, and then kind of these small little zooms, and also her acting and the way it's lit. It's just really reminiscent of. I mean, it's really well made. Yeah, yeah.
And I'm very curious if this is a professional actress or a girlfriend, wife. I'm saying because if it is the girlfriend or wife, that's a treasure at home when it comes to acting, and we've seen it over and over again. Yeah, it's really nice. It's just well done, and for me, very funny.
I wonder how many people actually broke the quarantine in order to be able to film their films. You know, how many people went illegal and hired an actor or actress for this, or went somewhere where they're not supposed to go, or something like this. Yeah. No, but this one was really, really cool. All right, next up, number 37, Working from Home by Ariel Guerquikov. Sorry if I got that wrong, from Mexico City.
Cinema 5D Board at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
Yeah, I love this one. it's just something that a lot of people can relate to these days, I think, because everybody's working from home office and being in video calls all day. I mean, this is basically working from home. But yeah, it's she works for Louis Vuitton, obviously. Huh?
Yeah. The situation can be very familiar. You start something and then your mind is being diverted, and you start something and then you end up with the client is calling or somebody's calling. And I think it was really funny at the beginning. By the way, it was a slow start for me personally, and then it picked up with a nice ending. And by the way, from the technical perspective, I guess it was a DSLR or mirrorless camera, because at some point when the camera moves very fast, you immediately can see the rolling shutter effect. Yeah. So this is just funny because many people are asking us when they shoot with mirrorless or DSLRs, how to move the camera. So obviously, not that I'm criticizing, I'm just saying those fast movements are immediately very visible.
True. And yeah, it's funny. I mean, the situation, I could also relate to it because my girlfriend has been working from home office for the last few months also, and she has the same problem. She's in video calls very often, and then one of our two cats, or both cats, just jump in front of the camera, and it always looks funny for her boss. So this is something that I could really relate to, and yeah, it's just an interesting way of showing the problem, and it's also very well shot. I think the variety of perspectives and the blocking and also the little changes in speed worked really nicely here, and camera movements. All right, next up is number 36, called A Toy's Tale short film by Mohammed Rasaye Yafarabadi from Turkey.
Hey! What the hell?
Well, I think if you are married, you can relate quite easy to the subject. But joke aside, it's very well done, and it's still entertaining after watching it for the second or even third time. Yeah, it's just very well done, the subject, and this is part of this. How to do stuff, how to think about the idea that will be still within the borders of what we wanted, and to the point, and also being entertaining.
Yeah, there's not much to add. I agree. It's definitely something that a lot of partners want to be able to do. It's a fun take on that. And I think in times like these, when you're stuck, a lot of people are stuck with their partner for a long period of time. I think it's a nice parody of that situation, and the way it's shot also, again, with these gaming elements, is quite nice. The only thing I wish it had a bit more variety in terms of the types of shots, size wise, and but that's just nitpicking. It's a really nice little short. All right, next up is number 35, The Boring Teleporter by Laurent, wow, that's a tough name, Yaumdingautmon from New Zealand. I'm sorry about that, but there's no way I can spell that name correctly. But from Laurent from New Zealand. Yeah, what do we think about this one?
Well, New Zealand, and for the guys who doesn't know or don't know, Syrup, who are doing sliders, are actually also from New Zealand. And if you ask me, the guy simply took a Genie Mini and played with it. But no, this is joke aside. It's a story. Again, it's all about storytelling, and it's here less about the let's say the visual, although the combination of animation and the actual acting is very, very nice. I want you to know what's coming, what's next, yeah, and I think it's a great job. Nino, what do you think?
I agree, and I like the little hint. I mean, the last shot is really, really long, and then when the apple shows up, you see that it's bitten. So it's like, okay, it's not only that the teleporter worked, but also that somebody bit the apple. And of course, it's the biblical joke, I guess. So that's kind of a nice little addition there. Great work. All right, next up is number 34, called Mind Games by Edin Gacic from Austria.
COVID-19. Coronavirus, COVID-19. Social distancing inside.
This virus actually become immune.
Whoa!
Wow, great production quality.
Wow. Production value is amazing here. Huh? It's
absolutely. Did you understand the ending with the little like medicine glasses? I'm not 100% sure. That's why I'm asking.
whatever the ending is, don't take what he took, because you see what's happening.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, but it's a good idea. I mean, it's a lot of these films are about escapism and kind of like escaping the mundane boredom at home, and he does it through virtual reality. And then maybe it's not just virtual, maybe it's a reality. So
and again, the whole film would collapse if we wouldn't have this middle part, which is a little Rambo type, which is shot very, very well, and the location is amazing. And we can only believe that it was really done for us for the competition, but really nice. A lot of effort probably went into this.
Well, I think he tagged us on Instagram while he was shooting it. So yeah, and I also like the way it was shot, and of course the use of light in that industrial room there, and it's great work. I always like, when films don't take themselves too seriously, because I think it's very difficult to nail if you are trying to, how should I say that, to get something difficult like psychologically or an action scene across convincingly. It needs to be top-notch production value, because we are so used to seeing this on a Hollywood level, and even those films often fail, and then they become unintentionally funny. And if you don't have a budget, this is of course much easier to become kind of laughable. So when you have a film like this one that is actually not taking itself as serious, because of that beginning and end, I think it really, really works. Yeah.
Oh, we are over the 2 minutes.
Well,
next
is number 33, called Squashed by Daniel Lentani from Quebec, Canada.
I love it. I love how it starts as something that you go like, okay, another film with fruits, because we have quite many of those. But it really moves into something which is a little film, and the whole mood changes from something which is very cheerful into something which is more like a horror type. But again, all with a little smile on the face. Very well done. Great production value. And yeah, congratulations. Let's move on.
Let's move on. The next one is, can everybody hear me? The next one is number 32. It's called Week 1 versus Week 2 by Jonathan Grijalva from Chicago, US. Yeah, I love that one. I mean, I think I'm seeing it for the second or third time, and every time you discover new stuff. It's again one of those which has multiple personalities of the same guy. It's probably the filmmaker, and probably the best use of a motion control head I've seen in a long time.
Absolutely. And every time I ask myself, how did he do it, or how did they do it, they earned the respect. Very nice. Well done.
Very nice. Yeah, I think a one shot is always something impressive if it's pulled off the right way, and even like this, it's even better. I mean, it's basically telling the whole story in one image, like the craziness. I particularly like when he was in his sleeping gown and always looking at the wall on different sides. that was really the funniest. By the way, thank you everybody for sending Anna already a lot of emails about the gear you used. If you haven't sent Anna an email yet about the gear you used in your film, if you can give us more details, that would be great. We will include that in the summary post in the next days. And it's just interesting for people to hear what you used. So please send that to anna@cinema5d.com just to share what you used to make your film. Next up, we have number 31. Bored at Home Waiting for a Friend by Karen Sheldon from the US.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
My friend said she'd drop by and wave, so just waiting on her.
Yeah, I really love this one. It's just, I love the fact that it was a one shot again, but a static one in this case, and just the simplicity of it and the acting. Acting is has to be quite expressive if you're acting in a wide shot like that. And I think she did a great job. And I think it's a nice illustration and a funny one of, when you're stuck with, either alone or with one or two other people for a very long time, you long for seeing somebody else. So a friend is texting her, just announcing that she will drive by, and she's waiting all day there. And I think the things she does out there are quite funny. And and also the way the messages are displayed is quite nice. And how the time passes. I mean, that camera was literally standing there for a day at least, or half a day at least, because of course you couldn't have had any camera movement. What do you think, Johnny?
From the same reasons that you liked it, I liked it too. And it doesn't stand out in the sense of there are other stories which are more colorful, or the music is playing a bigger role. But here as a whole, if you take it into the context of what the director and the actress try to say, I think they did a really great job.
Okay, let's move on. Number 30 is called Catvit 19 by Stathis Galazoulas from Athens, Greece.
Cinema 5D Board at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
I love that one because as a cat owner, you will know that it's not you that own the cats, it's the cats that own you once you have them. It's just like, like we're tolerated to live in the apartments we have our cats in, not the other way around. And I think it's very nice to actually tell that story from the cat perspective. And again, also here, the acting by the cats was amazing. I don't know. I mean, when we shot the trailer for the competition, and Anita and I used our cats, it took us a lot of takes to get the right reactions. So I can imagine what's his name? He went through. What's his name? Stathis went through by using his cats for this. So I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, very nice, very nice, entertaining, and it's one of those films that I was really hoping that will end up in our top 50 because of many reasons. But also important to say, so many cats lovers, so many cats owners.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think it's really amazing.
There's a lot more cats than dogs in our films, I think, also.
Absolutely.
We have some
There's
dogs.
much more coffee. There's one dog thing. I really hope it made it to the top 50. There's an amazing jump over there in slow motion, but let's see, maybe it's coming. But for this film, it's a cat all the way.
All right, moving on. Number 29. We're almost half through with all the films. It's simply called Cinema 5D Board at Home Film Competition by Elias Gross from Thalheim bei Wels from Austria.
Cinema 5D Board at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
Yeah, I think Elias did a great job there. Again, a little bit depressive with the ending bit, but yeah, that's the way Austrian films usually are. But we had a lot of submissions from Austria. We are headquartered in Austria, here in Vienna, I guess, because a lot of people know us here also, which is nice. Yeah, this was beautifully shot, I think. It's the camera movement and also the mood, and I think a lot of people can relate because it's a simple story, but it's a story of somebody making a to-do list. That's also one of the themes we saw over and over again in so many films. And he's ticking off the to-dos, but in the end we find out that he just dreamt, and then he only drank. He's only drunk and didn't do any of those things. But yeah.
Guys, since we are all live and you are also commenting live, are you really live by to-do lists during the quarantine time? I'm very curious, because at least where I am, there are no to-do lists. There are things to do, but not to-do lists. So if you live by to-do lists, it would be interesting to know. Let's move on.
I always work more efficiently once I have a list, but I just I forget to do a to-do list very often, so I forget things. Yeah. The next submission is also from Austria. By the way, there is no preference. We actually don't know who ends up there. We just give out marks, and I see for the first time where the films are from, to be honest. But yeah, it's a coincidence. So number 28 is called Herentine by Michael Gattinger from Weibern in Austria.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
All right. Smart idea.
Good. Very nice, very entertaining. I would personally, as a filmmaker, I would stop it when the guy touches the hair, because then you understand what is about to come. But I'm a guy with no hair, so who am I to tell somebody with so much hair how to cut the hair? Yeah. But very well done, very entertaining, and a great idea.
I agree. I mean, yeah.
That I don't have hair.
No, it's a really smart idea to do it like this, and of course use the time. If you're really bored, you might torture yourself like this. Yeah, I'm happy that the hairdressers are back open again. Just went today. So yeah, next up is number 27. Yeah, now I have professional little marks sheets here, so I'm very proud of that. The next film, number 27, is called Me and You Forever by John Puntervold from Norway.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, MZ, and Music Vine.
as an effort by a charismatic preacher to build a new society.
Yeah, interesting.
Hey, no politics, no
funny,
politics.
no politics, but funny political comment here. Don't try this at home should have been the disclaimer at the very end. Also for some press conferences by some politicians. But yeah, very, very funny idea. And yeah, that's what happens when you're bored at home. When you're bored at home, hillbilly. Yeah.
Acting was very convincing, and camera movements was very convincing. And again, I'm very, very curious to know if it was a professional actor or a friend of the cameraman, director.
I agree. Also, the set, the location. I love the location. You know, just this trailer, and the entire setting was very good set design as well. So, yeah, really, really cool. Well done. Next one, number 26, is called Rhythm of the House by Janie Gilbert, New York, US.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
Right.
One
I
shot.
love the symphony of noises that is adding up once you go through the house. And yeah, it's a one shot again. Yeah.
Very nice, very convincing, small story, and it all made from the obvious. There was nothing there that you say. I mean, you know, the kids, the husband, the wife with a special guest appearance at the end, but putting it all together really made a very nice impression. Well done. Also,
just the planning. This again, you know, like as I said at the beginning, the storytelling is so much about planning these things out, and it doesn't mean that you have to spend a lot of time editing. If you plan out a perfect one shot like this, it's of course great. And I think also a lot of people often neglect the audio level. So we see that a lot of now that we're moving up the ladder with the better films, like the ones that are higher up in our ranking, you will see that the sound design also gets better, because this is so important. A lot of people just forget this or neglect it. And yeah, the sound is just as important as the image, sometimes for the mood even more important, I would say. And a lot of people, yeah, neglect that. And the ones that don't are the ones that really stick out very often. All right, next up is number 25. It's called Send by Daichi Shigematsu from Japan.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
All right. First, before we talk about this one, there were some comments. A lot of people didn't, or some people didn't like the last one, the one shot. Well, all we can say that we can't, there's never going to be. Johnny and I have different opinions on some of the films as well, and that's how it is. But yeah, it's very difficult to rank films sometimes because you're really comparing apples and oranges, and the higher we go up in that list, the more difficult it becomes. And actually, you will see, I have the list here of the top ones. The next couple of films you're going to see, I'm actually soon going to stop showing you a number because there are a lot of ex aequo films. So we actually, sometimes have up to 10 films with the same amount of points. And that, of course, means that they are all on the same spot. But we can't show 100 films, so that's how it is. And at the very end, we will have to decide on the winners. But okay, let's talk about this one, Johnny. What do you think?
That kept me up to the last second to know what's happening, and I really enjoyed it. Very simple. It's a one-man show, but very effective.
Yeah, I also like the simple camera work. I mean, it's a Japanese film, but it's also very Japanese kind of storytelling. This really quiet way of showing the story, and I think we can see this with a lot of films. I mean, a lot of it would be funny sometimes. Sometimes without seeing the actor, of course, or actresses, you could often tell just by the way the films are made sometimes where they are from. And that's quite interesting because, of course, there's cultural styles that shine through as well. All right, next up is number 24. It's called Tactical Patrol Trooper by Ken Amlin from Canada.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
Where are you going? Come on. No, come back.
Absolutely brilliant, in my opinion. I mean, this is a really, really, really cool idea. Again, something, it looks like a serious kind of film with amazing visual effects, and then comes out as something funny, which gives a little bit of a hint of the current situation and the joke with the toilet paper and the drone. Just amazing storytelling again.
Yeah, very nice, very entertaining, but yet you really want to know where it's leading. And when it starts, you go, okay, another futuristic stuff, yeah. But the end is nice. It's nicely done and combined together.
Next, actually, I'm going to stop saying numbers on the list now because, as I said before, it's not fair because we have already entered a section of our list where a lot of submissions have the same amount of points from our judging. The next one, there's 23 films to go, but that doesn't mean that the next film is number 23. It's actually higher up with a lot of other films. That's how it is. Because I think we have, probably, let me count actually. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have about 10 films with 36 points. And we are now at 36 points out of a possible 40. All right, so keep that in mind. So 40 points is the maximum. The next one you're going to see has 36. And it's called The Way of the Cameraman by Konstantin Telptran from Germany.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
In the challenging times of solitude, a hopeful soul looks forward to the future. Because deep down, he knows that one day his skills shall be needed once again. So like the resting swords of old, he also must remain sharp. He will not stray from his path, except to watch Tiger King. He will not stray from his path. He will not hesitate to be one with his gear.
Absolutely love this one. Johnny, have you watched Tiger King on Netflix?
No, I'm not on Netflix.
Oh
I
my
have no time
God, you have
watch.
to watch
I have
Tiger
no
King.
time for this.
Then you will find this film even more funny. It's amazing. You're on my Netflix account, just why? So, no, but yeah, it's a really, really cool, fun little short, and I think it's actually one of 2 or 3 films that is quoting Tiger King. That's really a cultural phenomenon, and almost everybody, has seen it over the last couple of weeks. Yeah, really well done. Nice filmmaking, and yeah, what do you think, Johnny?
I think when you have 4 kids, you have little time to watch the films. Yeah, I mean, you're busy managing Cinema 5D and everything around it, of course, with the kids. For me, again, very, very well done, very entertaining. I like those little extra reactions between the guy, and yeah, very nice. And hopefully things will go back to normality and we can all move on.
Yeah. Jacob, cutting to you for a second. Any questions or comments from the audience on the YouTube live chat?
Comments, yes, there are comments. Questions, not in the last time. Basically, only feedback to the videos, which is mostly positive, so all good.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm seeing one here. Yeah, I mean, exactly what Swift LND is saying. Keep in mind that we're judging in 4 categories, so one film might score higher in one category and lower in another, and it places some higher in the list. Yeah, that's exactly how it is. It's comparing apples and oranges. So it's really, the further we move up, the more subjective it gets, and at the end we will have to make a call between the top 4 for the prizes. That's just how it is. The top 3 have the same amount of points, you will see, and we'll have to decide on the spot. But we will be open for comments, and we want to hear your opinions too. So there should be a reason for that live chat if you stick through all the way to the end. All right, next up, we have, again, a film with 36 out of the 40 points. It's simply called Bored at Home by Tim Henkel from Germany. Brilliant use of a miniature car, and I really love the lighting on this one. Yeah, the set. It's just it was really convincing. I mean, it's almost like so. I think Tim should definitely start working as a miniature shooter. I mean, that's not actually done anymore, right? The Starship models are now all CGI, but I mean, the lighting was really convincing, and all the different moods the car was driving through looked really, really cool, and also smooth movements.
Tim, maybe we can do something together in the future. When I think about it, if you wanna help us do some tutorials on how to shoot miniatures like this, we are very, very much happy to try and think about it. I'm sure many other people will be happy to know the technique behind it. Let's think about it.
Yeah, we've started a new series, if you haven't seen it on Cinema 5D, called Quick Tips, which is usually 4 minutes long and just gives one tip about a specific kind of thing. We've started publishing those, and there's going to be a lot more in the near future from our team here. All right, the next film is also has 36 points out of the 40. It's called The Velveteen Chicken by Daniel Weil Eggert from Detroit, US.
Oh no, it died. I love you, music teacher. I wish you were.
Amazing. Yeah, I was just amazed by the acting of the little boy. It's just these facial expressions are, Oscar worthy, especially from, I don't know how old he is, 2 or 3 years. Amazing.
In our industry, we always say it's the hardest to work with kids and animals. And here in this short film, we had both. And the chicken played nice too. But really, very, very well done and very convincing.
Yeah, also nicely shot, I think. Just the choice of angles and lighting and stuff. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of submissions with kids. Very often, unfortunately, of course, I mean, it's just images of the kid doing nothing. And it's as Johnny said, very difficult to direct them. But in this film was absolutely perfect, and it looked like the little boy had an amazing time at the same time.
Yeah, there's one more film with a child. I'm very curious to see if it ends up in our top 50.
Yeah. Yeah. So next up is a film with 37 points. So we're moving up. It's called Her by Maziar Keika from Iran.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
10 million followers on August? Have you seen this chick? Hey, Bezzy, I'm talking to you. Bezzy? Fuck these flyers. Oh, chicks again. Get the hell out of here. Chicks. Hey, Bezzy.
I miss those days. Gathering, smoke together, play together.
But the whole world is suffering because of it. I called for a ban from people coming in from China long before.
I'm getting used to it. As Peter McKinnon said, being a YouTuber is a very lonely job.
Not necessarily like it's a bad job because it's not, love it, but like the reality of it being quite lonely. It's not.
But still, I wish it would be over. For her. Because she's getting lonelier every day.
Again, the split personality theme is cropping up again. Really well done. Even a lot of rotoscoping in there. That must have been a lot of work. But yeah, very convincing.
Convincing and a very nice ending, which is actually not on the person itself, but on the dog. Nice little story, and yeah, how do you say, respect.
Yeah. 2 questions. Michael B. Rasmussen asked a little bit earlier already, actually half an hour ago. Have you already contacted the winners, or will you do it after today? We will do it after today, because as I mentioned before, we still have to decide for the top 3 and actually the 4th, because we have a lot of ex aequo points there. And the next comment from Cyroson: with the benefit of hindsight, maybe stating the points totals instead of number placements might have been a better shout out, given that people are giving quite emotional over the placements. You're right. I'm sorry about that. Actually, it wasn't a great idea that you would say the top 50. We only realized while we are actually talking about them that those are not the top 50. Those are probably the top 20 or something. It's just a lot of those films have the same amount of points. That's simply how it is. We will display that correctly on our blog post in the coming days. So please apologize for that. It's not the top 50 really. It's really a lot of the films have the same place on that list. Yeah, and you will see that on the official list that we are going to publish in the next days, hopefully tomorrow, but no later than early next week. Yeah, you will have all the points there and see the number. All right, next up is another film with 37 points called Imagination Man by Travis Marlott, California, US.
Cinema 5D Board at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
I'm bored.
Well, use your imagination! Imagination is when you take your thoughts and make them real.
Imagine being beefcakes or maybe stunning centaurs. Imagine a cool rocket ship headed for the stars. Imagine castles, imagine dragons. Imagine dragons.
No thanks.
Imagine growing old and being all alone.
Wait, what?
Losing all your teeth, a killer lurks beneath.
Don't do bad ones.
Brain tumor, vicious rumor, no one likes your sense of humor.
This doesn't feel good to me.
Anxiety is imagination for existential exasperation.
Why are you doing this to us?
It's not me, they're in your head.
When will it end?
Not you, you're dead.
How do we make the bad thoughts go away?
No, you're boring without me.
Think he'll be back?
I can't imagine.
Yeah, completely silly. I love it. It's high production value and totally crazy, but something uplifting, definitely. Yeah.
Very nice chemistry between the 2 guys, and you know what? I would have loved to see them actually having their own little series, TV or YouTube, and doing some stuff together. Very nice.
I think you just see from a lot of films, not just from our competition, but often, I mean, it's not a cliche, but you can just see that people in California are often working on really, not if it's not their own productions, but productions that are of a high production value. So they they do a really good job keeping up a really good production value with their own submissions. We've had that on earlier film competitions as well, I think. Yeah, so there's a really, really cool one. All right, next up, also ex aequo with 37 points out of the 40. Reasons to Stay at Home, number 182 by Louis Caulfield from London, UK.
Cinema 5D Board at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
Have a lovely day at school, darling.
Bye, Mum.
Oh, I forgot the door. Still sleeping? Oh, what a good baby. Let's get you shots.
Hi, Patsy.
Oh, hi, Peggy. How are you?
Oh, good. Have you seen the new bakery across the street?
Oh, yes, I have.
Oh, have you heard they're selling both cinnamon roll and fudge?
Oh, I love cinnamon rolls. I
Oh,
didn't
me
know.
too.
Oh, definitely. Oh, baby, you're awake. Oh, I better go. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, that's cool animation. What I liked about this is not only that it was animation, but it also, I mean, of course, the amount of work that goes into it, but it really told a little story. And that's probably the best climbing baby I've ever seen, even though it's a Lego baby. And I just like the angles. I mean, like once you go into animation, I think it's quite hard to actually still try to think cinematically, because you're of course constrained. You have to use macro lenses in order to get focus, and that makes it quite difficult. But this film still looked really cinematic because of the angling and everything, and the different the depth of field, and you really understood the story. And even on, if you watch children's TV with little model animation films, very often they don't do a great job actually making it look like a real film. But this one, I think, did it.
Yeah, with a lot of attention to small details. I could see the dog next to the call, for example. Very nice.
Very nice. So we have about 15 or 16 films to go. Again, this is not a ranking because a lot of ex-aequo films. The next film has 37 points again. It's called Stop Writing To-Dos from Behnam Moghadam from Germany.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
Yeah, what I liked about this one is simply, for me, the idea was brilliant. That the notes, the to-do list is kind of rewriting itself, and basically tells you stop with your to-dos. And we talked about to-do lists before. I mean, that's really a recurring theme. I think we have at least 20 or 30 submissions or more with to-do lists.
Yeah, it's not only it's also the execution of the idea, and the animation is very, very nice. And for a minute, I thought it's actually the same guy from the previous film, the one that duplicated himself 7 times from Iran. But obviously, it's a different one. That's what I said. So many men with beard. But
well, that's a typical theme, right? When you're stuck at home, probably a lot of people's razors failed as well. We also have a lot of bearded men. in these films. Yeah. The only thing I didn't quite get was the very end, because what was missing for me was a reaction of surprise or anything like that in the last shot. But that's just me. I mean, that's one thing I would have changed. Yeah, we got a nice comment from Tim Henkel from earlier. Thanks for the nice words. He would like to help us with a little tutorial on how he did the shots, and he didn't think he would be one of the top 50. There are just too many great films. Thank you, Tim. I'm sure the others appreciate that, but your film was great as well. All right, let's move on. The next one is called, well, the next one also has 37 points again on the same spot. It's called The Last Agent by Jose Parada from London, UK.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
They found me. It was a matter of time. It's been 5 years since the confinement started and the world changed forever. The media told us it was an accident, but the following viruses proved that this was an orchestrated plan. Half of the Earth's population has died since the first COVID-19. 1 month ago, 3 agents from the MI6 stole the secret documents which proved that everything was planned by an alliance of corporations to establish a new world order. 2 of the agents have been killed. Now, I am the only one.
Hey, what are you doing with the drill?
I'm bored.
I love that one because it takes our reality and takes it to the next step. Kind of like I'm actually surprised that not more did this. I was expecting more people fantasizing of a future of how this pandemic goes on and whether it's a positive or negative future. So this one obviously is a negative one with half of the world population dying. And then again at the end having the nice little typical short film twist of making it into something funny. So I like that.
You summarize it all in a very nice, short way.
Yeah. So yeah, I would have liked to see more science fiction actually, and not science fiction, but more like, well, it is science fiction. It's really like a future of what's happening after all of this is over, or if all of this gets worse. Let's hope not. So next up, again, another film with 37 points, which is simply called This Sucks by Erin McGuine from the US.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
This quarantine sucks. This is the worst it's ever been.
I don't know, man. Think about the Spanish flu. It could be worse.
This quarantine sucks. This surely is the end of days.
I reckon they must have had it pretty bad during the Black Plague. Could be worse.
Yep.
Oi, this quarantine sure is foul. This is the worst it's ever been. Just imagine if you were involved in one of those prehistoric plagues. Could be worse. Yep.
Ugh. 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 Yep.
Yeah, I think it's a lovely little film that puts into perspective the situation we're in by comparing it. That everybody's always saying this is the worst situation or this is better than something that happened before. So it's a funny idea to compare it to the Plague and anything like this. And I like the framing and it kind of, you have to put it's almost like a Wes Anderson film. You have to put all the work into that one wide shot and one frame, which makes it really funny. Yeah, very good work. Next up, also 37 points. I don't know, it's probably one of the last ones we have with 37 points, but I could be wrong. Yoga Time by Fabio Guzmão from Brazil.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
Yeah, that's a really cool animation. Looks like a lot of work. Stop motion animation always is.
And I think we really got a lot of submissions of stop animation, and it's of course being reflected on those 50 videos that we are sharing with you guys. Yeah, very nice, very convincing, and I'm very happy to see one of the old cameras that I wanted to have. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, and again, this is a little cameo of Cinema 5D in there again, but this has no merit in terms of how many points we give. But it's a fun little ad that they had, this Instagram thing. But yeah, it's a really cool animation. We have 13 more films to show, and again, please don't take this as a ranking because we are still at 37 points. Also, the next film will have 37 points. So the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the last 7 or 8 films you saw all had 37 points. So they all have the same amount of points. Yeah. And it's 13 more in total. That means that in 6 films from now, we move to 39 points. And one of the films that has 39 points will be the 4th spot, like one of the, and we have in total 4 films that have 39 points. So it's a bit complicated, I know, but that's how it is. All right, next one is called Corotina Time by Patrick Edinburgh. From Edinburgh. Is he from? No, Patrick Steele, sorry. Patrick Steele from Edinburgh, UK. Yeah, Nice one. What do you think?
The clock. I'm joking. But in so many submissions, obviously people want to show that the time doesn't really pass. And yeah, no, this one, I like the fast cut. I like the composition, and there's a little story. And yeah, that's it. Simple as that.
I also like the little reveal at the end that he's going mad, and the little quote of The Shining with, all work makes Paddy a dull boy. So yeah, he's definitely drinking a lot of tea. So that's one thing you have to do when you live in the UK.
One of the only ones, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we are still at 37 points. The next one also has 37 points, and it's the last one with 37 points. It's called Social Distancing by Blas Perry from Spain. Again,
one shot,
yeah, beautifully executed one shot. The funny thing is, this film is most similar to the animation film we saw much earlier with the walkie-talkie, because that's also this pushback one shot that is revealing things. And this was a beautiful movement. I mean, I want to know what it was shot with, probably with a Steadicam, because I don't think you can, or a dolly, you can't pull this off with a gimbal that slow, because the problem with the gimbals is the walking movement. But yeah, I would really love to hear how this was made. I love the composition of the rooms with the dividing thing, and you get this attention to details in this old building. You see the little phone by the door and all those things, and it's just a very symbolic, nice way of showing social distancing. Very nicely done.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, now is the next film. The next film is the first one with 38 points. It's called Bored at Home COVID 1975 by Lee Matthews from the UK.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
Welcome back, everybody, to the COVID 1975 Home Championships. Micro Elvis Aaron Presley. This is a death-defying stunt. Elvis does one more safety check.
Blow me a kiss from across the room. Little things mean a lot.
Micro Elvis Aaron Presley is the new world record holder.
Johnny.
This is clearly one of my favorites. I love it. I watched it. We didn't have a lot of time, but still, I think I watched it 3 times. Always looking for different things within the film. Simply well done. It has everything: the rhythm, the music, the colors, the question. How to fit. everything is there. Very nice, very nice. Well done.
The amount of attention to detail is just amazing in this one. I mean, my favorite shot is actually when you see from the cockpit view when he's landing, and this, this slow motion thing, how the film is actually celebrating and taking the time for this thing, this climax that it's working towards. So it's really, the pacing is also perfect, and it's also a perfect use of 1 minute, I think. And Micro Elvis Presley. Another animation film. It's amazing how many we have. I actually didn't think about that when we did the judging, but that's really, really many. And that's one thing of escaping, of course. It's one way of escaping your home is by kind of pretending that you're not at home, and you can only do that with miniatures, I guess. Yeah.
Pretending you're Elvis.
Yeah. Okay, next one. Also 38 points. Boredom is a 16mm anamorphic short film by Caleb Genheimer from Minnesota, US.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
My name's Caleb, and this is my 1-minute film about being bored at home. Let's go. I live out in the woods with my mother, my father, my dog, 2 cats, and I'll let you guess how many hats. My mother always says,
bored is an attitude.
The dog, the cats, and the woods had nothing to say on the subject. Another way to put that would be, boredom is a chosen state of mind. Boredom is a luxury. Boredom is a lack of curiosity. Boredom is for boring people. Curious yet? Have you been counting? Well, then you're not bored.
Lovely message. Boredom is definitely a state of mind, and I was surprised that nobody else actually put that in their film. I think it's a choice. I think it's a choice. It's like I can't remember ever. I've probably last time I was bored was as a kid at some point. I don't know. How about you, Johnny?
No time to be bored. Later in the grave. But anyway, seriously speaking, we have the film, shot on film. We have the anamorphic. We have a very entertaining guy in the sense that he can really carry the short film on his shoulders. I wonder if it's really the father and the mother. Again, if they are, then the whole family took part in it, and there's a little story here, which is very, very nice. So the visuals are working very well, the music is working well, and the guy as an actor, presenter, filmmaker, doing a great job.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just going through the effort and actually shooting on 16mm film is worth an applause as well, because it's getting harder every year with less and less labs being open, and just also the amount of planning and cost has to be taken in consideration as well. But you can really see it. I think this is still something that is so hard or almost impossible to fake with a digital camera. This look. This makes the whole film kind of Wes Andersonian, and it looks like something from rural Minnesota, and that's what it is, I guess. But great work, Caleb. Next up, what do we have? We have actually a question. No, the next one. Do we have a question, Jacob?
This was not so much of a question, but Caleb commented that the viewers should check the comments on his video for a little filmmaker quiz. So I wanted to let you know about that.
Nice. So yeah, please, Jacob, put the link to his video in the chat so people can access his video directly and take part in that filmmaker quiz. I'm looking forward to looking at that later on as well.
Probably
all right.
The prize is ahead, no?
No, I think we have probably around 10 more films to go. And next up, well, yeah, it's not far from the prizes anymore. So if people are, it's 3 o'clock in the morning for you, Johnny, right?
Absolutely, almost.
Yeah, we should move on. Okay, the next one is also a film with 38 points out of the 40. It's called Forgotten Flavor by Kai Nüske from Germany.
Cinema 5D Bored at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
Yeah, nice way of rediscovering old hobbies, I guess, or old professions while being quarantined at home. I think this was beautifully shot, and it showed beautifully, how we can forget old passions and rediscover them by finding stuff on the attic, for example. What do you think?
Yeah, the idea is very simple, but the execution of it is very convincing, and I think from the variety of films that we saw, actually, the big test is always which one you remember after, and that was one of those that somehow was stuck in my mind. I have to say, I do love ballet, and maybe that's one of the reasons, but I really like what I saw.
Yeah, I think it's so simple, and it's just a very gentle film in a way, which makes it nice. Yeah. Good. Next one is the last one with 38 points, which means after the next film, we will have the films with 39 points, and one of those films will win a prize, the number 4 prize, the Music Vine Pro Standard subscription. All right, but this one is the last one with 38 points. It's called Quarantine Days by Alexandre Bonton, I hope I say that right, from Toulouse, France.
Du fromage, et c'est bon. Tiens.
Merci.
Je crois que c'est tout. Tiens.
Parfait, merci. Je reviens dans 1 heure.
Et des yaourts. Tiens. Et ne claque pas la porte quand tu reviens.
Ok, promis.
Alex? Y a quelqu'un?
Alone at home? Who knows? Yeah, I love this one because, first of all, it was very intriguingly shot. That kept the intention. Was a nice way of finding different angles in the same apartment, and also the lighting and the mood. There was a lot of variety. And you never saw the face of the guy who's bringing the groceries. And then the surprise at the end, which turns it completely unexpectedly into a psycho thriller. And yeah,
with a nice
like
soundtrack.
With a nice soundtrack. Although I have to say she's quite scared of just the door banging, so she should probably change that door lock if it's that scary. But yeah, it was a really, really nicely executed film. All
Absolutely.
right, great work, Alexandre. And yeah, next one is the first film out of, let me count again, with 39 points. And in total, we have 4 films with 39 points. And one of those 4 will win the 4th place. After we watch these 4, Johnny and I will think together with you. So please look really, really closely, because we will ask you for your opinion too in the comments on the YouTube live chat. But we will, from these 4, choose the winner of the Musicvine Pro Standard annual subscription. So it's a 1-year subscription for the Pro Standard bundle from Musicvine, which allows you to use the music commercially, Johnny?
Yeah, it's a entire music Vine catalog. Of course, you can choose music from there. It's unlimited usage, world-class interface, like a search interface. What else? Actually, maybe we should post the link quickly in our YouTube conversation over there, and I'll just send it to Jacob.
Jacob
And
can post it on the YouTube. Yeah, then you can check the full details.
What it is. But
yeah,
I have to say, we've been using Musicvine for I don't know how long now. Very nice people, good friends, nice catalog, and we are very thankful that they allow us to mediate this prize to you guys. And whoever gonna get it, for sure, gonna enjoy it and find you a very good usage to it.
All right, and the first candidate who can get it is the first film with 39 points, running for the 4th place. It's called The Baxter by Riley Hanlon from Westminster, UK.
Cinema 5D Board at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Musicvine.
The final remnants of snow melt away and spring has officially arrived in the suburbs. Sleepy creatures arise from their slumber, hungry for a meal. A wild Baxter, hungry and bored from his winter quarantine, is on the prowl. He's a fierce hunter. Once he locks his eyes on his target, he'll never back down. With a vigorous shake, the Baxter ensures the death of his prey. With minutes of his boredom cured, the Baxter is satisfied. For now.
Yeah, lovely one. I mean, I was amazed, or we both were amazed, how much the voiceover sounds like Sir David Attenborough. Did a really great job. And not only that, actually we had, the funny thing is there was another submission, I don't know the name, which was very similar, but the other one also had a voiceover by somebody who sounds like David Attenborough, but it was talking about like a lizard. An animal, a lizard in the garden. So like an actual wild animal. And this one, I think we preferred because it was talking about a pet and but really convincingly narrating what Baxter is doing with his prey.
And
yeah, I think
very well executed. Yeah. I mean, the mixture between slow motion and actual shots, plus this amazing slow motion of the dog. Very nice colors, and yeah, I love it. That was really one of my favorites. Has everything we want.
Absolutely, I agree. And Yeah, it's just the shots were amazing. I mean, it's just very hard to film that, and even like getting the dog from 2 angles when it's jumping, so you have to do it again. So that was really, really well done. All right, the next one we also have with 39 points, simply called Bored at Home, by Ryan Glover from Canada. Yeah, spooky. What do you think?
Again, production value is amazing. I'm a little film. It's not a video. It's a little film. It's the story, the acting, the light, the camera movement. It's the color correction. It's all there. It's very, very convincing, and I'm very, very thankful that somebody took the time to make such a high quality film for our competition. Thank you.
Yeah, I quite like the mystical part of it, and it's obviously also something that you can do at home. And it goes, if you would have to categorize this film, it would go into the psycho thriller / horror movie genre that we have subgenre of these submissions. There's so many, and yeah, quite scary, some homes there. Yeah, great work. All right, what's the next one? Oh yeah, let's watch the film. On this one we have to watch the film first, and then I will tell you who made it. Please play the video. Yeah, it's probably the best way of using a drone that I've ever seen. I wish I could do that.
And I'm happy finally we have a film that show coffee and not only tea.
Do you think he really did that? I'm not sure. I mean, did he actually put that? It could be. I mean, I wanna, if you're watching, I really want to know if you really flew that drone with something hanging down and stuff. So yeah, really, really cool idea, and best way of escaping quarantine and getting good coffee, I guess. So really, really smart.
And also show all of us that it's sometimes, of course, it's the high, like the glossy productions, but in an example like this, we can see that there's nothing really very much glossy there, but the idea and the execution is perfect. Very nice.
It's the filmmaking, it's the story that is always king. And you can look, I mean, you don't, once you are into a film and you forget what it was shot on and how it's lit or anything like that, that's exactly when it starts to become interesting. Yeah. By the way, I didn't tell you who made this film. It's by Hakan Sakioglu from Greece, and it's also simply called Bored at Home. Very, very nice work. Next film also has 39 points, and it's by Andrei Bolukarov from Russia.
Jack.
So from those, one will get the music.
Yeah, I think brilliant execution of, I mean, he took the topic quite literal and tried to make home to an adventure place. But I think the way this was shot and just the connection between the scenes and all that kind of stuff was perfectly executed.
Very entertaining, and it's one of those films that since the submission, I think, because throughout the submissions, of course, from time to time, we had to check what is coming and to see that everything is up to certain normality, and this one really struck my eye from the beginning. It's simply very nice.
I agree. All right. So actually, now we have seen the 4 films with 39 points. And I think we will just put that question up for our audience. What do you think? Which one was your favorite film? It's a very hard decision for us. And the decisions will not get any easier after this, because the next one, we only have 3 films left after this. And it's going to be the 3 films that have 40 points each. And one of the next 3 will win a Panasonic S1H with an Atomos Ninja 5. The second one or another one will get an MZ membership for 1 year. And another one will get a license for Blackmagic Design DaVinci Resolve Studio 16. So there is, of course, the biggest prize is the camera with the Ninja, which is, I think, worth a total of $4,500 or euros. So that's a big one. But before we come to these films, please let us know in the live chat on YouTube what your opinion is. Which of the last 4 films should deserve the Music Vine Pro Standard subscription? So the last ones we saw was the drone film with the coffee from Hakan Sakiglu from Greece. We saw from Andrei Polukarov from Russia, Bored at Home, which was the last one. He was fighting at home and doing all those things and dressing up. Then what else did we see? The one from Baxter, yeah. And which film was the one by Ryan Glover from Canada?
I think it was the ballet. I'm sorry, because I have the excuse of 3 o'clock in the morning and after watching things. But I know the 2 that actually I find it a bit hard to decide. But
the one from Canada was the one with the table board, the mystical thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the 4.
Okay. So Jacob, are we hearing from the people, or we have to make the decision by ourselves?
The comments are coming. I didn't count it yet, but I'm looking into it. There are lots of comments.
Just read some of them, and we'll discuss.
Yes, of course. Bored at Home absolutely killed production design.
Which one? The last one?
The spooky one with the board.
Oh, the board. Yeah.
Border.
Okay.
Border. Okay.
Some people said it is the best cinematography of these 39-point videos. There are lots of voices for Baxter as well. For Andrei from Russia, there are also a couple of votes.
It's such a tough decision. I think, Johnny, we will have to pick one now, but I think we should do our best to get the other three that have 39 points something nice as well. What do you think?
What do you mean?
Well, we can't promise anything right now.
No, we can't. We can't
promise anything right now. But what we can do is talk to the sponsors and hope the best.
This we can promise. We can promise to talk to the sponsors.
Because I think everybody deserves something. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you and again, this is the beauty of doing things live, and there is nothing that you're trying to hide. Everything is open. Everything is on the table, guys. So nothing is happening at the back room. I'll go with Baxter. That's my favorite, and it's a very hard decision. Each one of them has its own speciality. It's apples and oranges, but somehow Baxter has it all for me. It's the storytelling, the filming, the optimism, the colors, and one little star. That it's just very nice story for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. Let's go with Baxter. So congratulations.
Wait. Before it is congratulations, but I really want to one more time hear the audience before we go. Congratulations, Jacob.
Yes, I read a comment. Yes, Baxter. So I think
that's it.
At least one viewer agrees. So
all the others are asleep now. Okay.
Great. Okay, then as you said, congratulations to the creator's name is
Baxter was by Riley Hanlon. Congratulations, Riley. You receive a 1-year subscription of MusicVine Pro Standard. So you can download all the music you want and use for your productions. Details are in the link that was provided before or on the competition page. We will contact you separately, Riley, about this and let you know officially. And for the other three that have 39 points, your films are just as good. And I'm not saying this just like that. It's really impossible to compare those films, even with the next ones. It's just really hard. Johnny and I will try to get you something. We can't promise anything, but we really will try, because I think you also deserve some recognition. So we will try to schmooze with our sponsors, and let's see what happens. Okay, congratulations again for amazing production value and amazing films. Next up, now it's gonna get really interesting. So the next three, again, I just have to repeat this, are ex aequo on the first spot by numbers. So again, between those three, Johnny and I, and with you, will have to decide on the top prize winner, which will be a tough one. The first out of those three films with 40 points is called For Matilda's Eyes Only by Isaac Park from Los Angeles, US. It's 11 o'clock in LA right now, so I hope Isaac is watching. Maybe you can comment on the video if you are, because that's going to be interesting. So yeah, let's just play the film and talk about it afterwards.
Dear Matilda, You have been invited to take part in a great adventure that could save the world. Attached are the schematics for a time machine. Travel to August 10, 2019. Instructions and a ticket will await you then. P.S. Don't forget your passport. Before you leave, travel back to yesterday. Put the notes and schematics where you will find them. Yours truly.
After I was done watching this, I was like, what? Already a minute is over? It felt like the beginning of a really, really, really cool movie, and has a bit of a feeling like Stranger Things or something like that. So I was really amazed. Completely unexpected what's happening. Yeah, a lot of fantasy, really great shots, great cinematography, great acting, great ideas, great attention to detail. That's from me.
Yeah, no, I feel the same. I really, really loved it. But I actually maybe don't want to talk too much now. I want to see the other two, you know, and then maybe summarize, because that's going to be tough. That's really going to be a tough call to compare. Yeah, whatever we do, whatever we decide, it's like, okay.
All right. The next film, the second film with 40 points, one of the three films that will win, will have a chance to win the top prize of a Panasonic S1H and an Atomos Ninja 5 recorder, or like Magic Design or DaVinci Resolve Studio 16 license, or an MZ annual membership for the Pro Premium membership. The next film is called Monster by Ruben Latry from the US.
It was before our dad left. He warned us of the danger. He said, it crawls at night from the woods in silence. It's everywhere, he said. A monster. Liam, can you hear me? Let him clear. Good. It's time to check on Mom. Mama Bear in the cave. Down for the night. Great. Meeting point in 5 out. Do you think he's really gonna come? The monster. He's here. Dad?
Do you think the kids will be okay?
They never know what to do on their own.
This time, they won't be bored at home.
Yeah. Wow. Actually, we were talking about this one right after we saw it. It's like, it's almost too good, in a sense that the production value is on a level, that could just be like that in the cinema, or, you know, primetime, Netflix, whatever. You have found he has actually edited a longer version that is also on Vimeo, which of course we didn't judge. We only saw this after judging. And in the description of that, he wrote that he involves his whole family with the production. So yeah, and that they shot like a couple of hours every night and then did that and planned the shots during the day, which is really interesting. So if you are in the chat, I'm not sure if Ruben is here. Maybe he can also take part in the chat. But yeah, that's just amazing production value, the lighting, everything.
Yeah, it's well, he's a filmmaker by profession, and he's doing probably some high-end stuff. Yeah, it will be very difficult, because what we saw, the two samples that we saw now, are of course like mini films. Yeah, and I don't want anybody to feel bad about what they submitted. It's just really, yeah, those are the top that we got.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's it makes it. I'm thinking as we speak of which one can be the winner, and it's already like, oh my god, it's impossible. It's impossible. But we love to hear your opinions. Please right away in the chat right now. It's the right time to totally influence us in our decision. But yeah, let's before we talk further, let's show the last one, the very last film, which has 40 points and also ex aequo with the other two. It's called Stay Home by Guilherme Lopes from Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Situation with coronavirus, we're hearing, according to the UK Department of Health.
Well, I gave you all my love and I gave you all my trust and I gave you everything that you need. But you only told me lies and you made me realize that, babe, you ain't no good for me. I can't be with you, you can't be true. And I know just what I got to do. Gonna hit the ground running. Running just as fast as I'm running, just as fast as I can.
Yeah, last but not least, on the contrary. So amazing production value. Just absolutely, you could tell that he was probably spending weeks on doing all those shots of the exteriors, and so basically it's taking a horrible situation and taking it to the next level. Also kind of thinking of what this whole pandemic could put into motion, negatively spoken, and then making it funny at the same time.
I tell you something. The three submissions are really the top submissions are really good. I love them all, but now watching them again, I made a decision for myself.
Don't say it yet.
One. No, of course not. Of course, I'm gonna sleep now.
We tell it tomorrow. Because everybody's been waiting for like 3 hours.
No, but I know for myself, and I'm saying it in a very, I'm very relaxed about the winner for me, because I know how I would like to end this competition. But maybe we can hear, Jacob, anything is coming from the guys out there now that they saw the three top submissions?
Yes, all the viewers are commenting a lot. Thank you guys for being so active, and they are voting for all three. I mean, I can't even count which one is winning now. The comments just keep coming.
Okay, that's not really helping, no. But
yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Nino?
Yeah, that is.
Do you have a winner?
Well,
like
I think
the one you
mean, in terms of storytelling and production value, they are all on par. But for me, it's in the end, it something that makes me laugh and kind of grabs me as a viewer out of this difficult situation the world is now right in, and kind of takes the reality and makes it just kind of how should I say that, kind of exaggerates it, but makes it funny and also finds a positive tune, is something that I think would be a good message as a winner. Saying that, I would vote for.
Wait, don't say. I want to say before that for me it's also about inspiration. And when I talk about inspiration, the other two submissions, I guess it's something that you really will go to the cinema to see. And it can be that some of the people will look and say, well, I simply can't do something like this. It will take me years to come to this level of being a professional, or I don't have the money for it, or whatever. It doesn't matter the reason, but it looks beyond reach. And now you can share what we decided. This is something that probably people will feel happy with, and it will inspire me as a filmmaker. And I'm very happy with and very relaxed about our decision.
Yeah, I think I decided for Stay Home by Guilherme Lopes from Sao Paulo, Brazil. And what I'm hearing from you is that you have a similar opinion.
Absolutely.
So that's a simple decision. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's for me again watching the three, and it's not that the others are in any way. I mean, it's very different, but and I hope the other two guys will also agree that it's part of our duty to inspire the people, and this is a very nice balance between production value, storytelling, and something that can be done. And so congratulations. We are very, very happy, but we still have to name or give the prizes to the monster.
We have Anna who's working with us. She's from Brazil, and she will know how to say that name correctly. Can you tell me? Guilherme. Okay. Guilherme Lopes from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Congratulations. You are the winner of a Panasonic S1H and an Adamus Ninja 5. We will get in touch. We will inform you also via email tomorrow. And the sponsors will get in touch with all the winners in order to get you the prizes, hopefully as soon as possible. We will make sure that this happens. So congratulations. So now we just have to decide, because the next two prizes are of an equal value. The MZ Pro Premium subscription, I think, and the Blackmagic Design DaVinci Resolve Studio 16 license are both, I think, worth around $300. So
you know
what do you
what,
think, Tony?
in all honesty, I wish that the creators of both films will contact us and tell us what they prefer to have, in all honesty, because it will be a pity to give a prize to somebody that doesn't maybe need it or has already the license. If you guys are fine with this, just please contact us. And based on that, if each one of you would like to have something that we can, I think that's the best solution. And if not, we will decide for you. But that's just
for now. For now, we can say, I think that Isaac Park, who from LA, who made For Matilda's Eyes Only, I think I would say the MZ Pro Premium subscription, and for Ruben Latry, also from the US, for Monster, the DaVinci Resolve 16 Studio subscription. But again, as to a license, again, please contact us if you would prefer to have the other price. We will try to deal it out, and I'm sure we can make something happen here, so you get the price you want. So congratulations again. Now back to Jacob one more time. What are people saying about our decision?
More or less, they are happy. This is over.
They're happy it's over.
It was a long stream, but I'm reading here comments. Good choice. Congratulations to the winners, and that's basically it.
Good.
Thank you. I think we haven't actually talked to our director, but maybe we can show the last, like the top 4 films just in a row without us babbling again. So is that possible, that we can show the last 4 before we say goodbye before? Okay, great. Please start with spot number 4, if possible, and then just show the other 3. And that's our way of saying goodbye. Thanks for staying with us for so long. We're also quite tired now. It's time for some dinner, and it's time to go to bed for Johnny, because it's 4 a.m. Amazing. Thanks for staying up that long, Johnny. And thanks everybody for watching. stay tuned to Cinema 5D because we are actually on a good track of posting a lot of videos every day now. I mean, we're actually posting one video a day. We have done a lot of interviews with very interesting filmmakers. We have done a lot of interviews with gear manufacturers about new equipment that was supposed to be announced at NEB as part of our virtual show. So there's a lot more videos coming. But I think even more importantly, the interviews with really, really high-end filmmakers and really talented filmmakers that are coming will be worth your while. And if you haven't subscribed yet to Cinema 5D, please check our site, cinema5d.com regularly, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And yeah, there's a lot more good stuff coming from us over the next couple of months and years. Yeah, thanks for watching.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the support. Good night or good morning, and stay safe.
Cinema 5D Board at Home Film Competition is sponsored by Panasonic, Black Magic Design, MZ, and Music Vine.
The final remnants of snow melt away and spring has officially arrived in the suburbs. Sleepy creatures arise from their slumber, hungry for a meal. A wild baxter, hungry and bored from his winter quarantine, is on the prowl. He's a fierce hunter. Once he locks his eyes on his target, he'll never back down. With a vigorous shake, the baxter ensures the death of his prey. With minutes of his boredom cured, the baxter is satisfied. For now.
Dear Matilda, you have been invited to take part in a great adventure that could save the world. Attached are the schematics for a time machine. Travel to August 10, 2019. Instructions and a ticket will await you then. P.S. Don't forget your passport. Before you leave, travel back to yesterday. Put the notes and schematics where you will find them. Yours truly.
It was before our dad left. He warned us of the danger. He said it crawls at night from the woods in silence. It's everywhere, he said. A monster. Liam, can you hear me? Let him clear. Good. It's time to check on Mom. Mama Bear in the cave. Down for the night. Great. Meeting appointment 5 out. Do you think he's really gonna come? The monster. He's here.
Dad?
Do you think the kids will be okay?
They never know what to do on their own.
This time, they won't be bored at home.
Situation with coronavirus, we're hearing, according to the UK Department of Health.
Well, I gave you all my love and I gave you all my trust and I gave you everything that you need. But you only told me lies and you made me realize that, babe, you ain't no good for me. I can't be with you, you can't be true. And I know just what I got to do. Gonna hit the ground running. Running just as fast as I'm running, just